I'm Simone Pfenninger. I am a linguist from Switzerland originally, and I transferred to Salzburg 3 years ago to be an associate professor of second language acquisition and psycholinguistics. So those are my main areas of research here at the department. I am interested in all things age and aging related, and that sometimes sounds a little bit daunting. But what we do is we investigate the acquisition of several languages and also the usage of several languages across the lifespan. Literally from age 0 to 100. We don't discriminate when it comes to age. And I've always been fascinated in the by the age factor, because it's really one of those polarizing variables that have been a vital part in numerous myths and elements of folk wisdom about second language acquisition, myths that have been able to prevail for hundreds of years and are really difficult to debunk. Like, for example, the earlier, the better view, this idea that younger children are able to acquire a new language, an additional language, more effortlessly, more efficiently, more quickly, and eventually more successfully than older children, definitely adults. And also along those lines that at the other end of the lifespan, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks, right? When it comes to the learning really of anything, this very pervasive decline narrative, when we describe individuals later in life and how they pick up new skills, for example, language learning, and all the stereotypes and the ageism that come with it that we rarely talk about compared to, for example, sexism or racism. Ageism is something relatively pervasive and prevalent, and yet it's not discussed to the same extent. And there's also lots of myths that we look at that surround multilingualism, of course, for example, and those are very often opposing views, right? For example, the idea that children with a migrant background, that they're somehow, somewhere at a disadvantage when it comes to the learning of additional language in a school context. Die sollen erstmal richtig Deutsch lernen. That's something that we hear a lot. And on the other hand, we also often hear the view that certain constellations of language, or when it comes to certain constellations of language, multilingualism is considered or hailed as a cognitive or socio-psychological blessing, right? It somehow makes you fitter, smarter, and happier if you are a multilingual or bilingual person. Right now we work on a longitudinal project in which we investigate third age additional language learning. So we work with individuals who are older than 65 years, and we basically just analyze how they fare with respect to second language acquisition when they have to acquire completely new language, and what language learning brings them. Cognitively speaking, does it make them cognitively fitter? Socioaffectively speaking, what does it do for overall well-being? Autonomy, self-efficacy, general communicative skills, and also neurologically speaking, brain activity. And these projects involve anybody from BA students up to members of faculty. Well, linguistics is the scientific study of language. So the focus is very much on doing science, and that goes way beyond the learning of the proper usage of appropriate research methods, or becoming familiar with the multitude of different takes and approaches that we take when we study certain phenomena, as for example, language acquisition, maintenance, and attrition, really what you also gain is a range of very, very general skills. For example, the development of a certain curiosity for research. Work ethics is something that we touch upon too in linguistics. Autonomy, pursuing a goal, could be a research goal independently, but also as part of a team, because research is always also teamwork. Research is never a one-man or a one-woman show in that sense. And also the simple fact that when you do research, you have to make a lot of compromises as you go along. Research is relatively messy, and it's sometimes something that surprises students. The number of executive decisions that you have to take on a regular basis, and then also taking responsibility for these decisions. And then when it comes to my field, I'm an applied linguist. I very much consider myself an applied linguist. And in the applied sciences, the topics that we investigate, they very often have high social, practical, and pedagogical significance and relevance, so implications for society at large. And so what I try to teach my students too is to develop an ability to discern what is a good idea, a beautiful idea, or research question that is interesting enough to spend a lot of time working on, that sometimes it could be months or years on end. But most importantly, an idea or a problem that is, yes, sufficiently interesting, yet also sufficiently difficult or challenging that it's not been solved yet, it's not been tackled yet. But, and this is the most important point in applied linguistics, the time has come to do it now. So time and timing on top of social relevance, I think those are the two pillars in applied linguistics.